what's up, everybody? It's Counter HD here, bringing us a brand new video today. It will be going back and looking at the 2021 NFL regular season and looking at all the great moments, breakout stars, and just everything that transpired during the season. So with that being said, let's hop straight into it. First things first, we have to mention Jonathan Taylor. And in his second year, took the rushing title and the touchdown title, combining for 2,100 all-purpose yards and 20 touchdowns, leading in both of those, making for and became one of the best players and a possible MVP candidate. He's definitely offensive player of the year, but the fact that he is in the MVP conversation just says how much he did during this season. Except though, we gotta talk about the legend himself, Mike White, the underdog. He beat the Bengals with 405 yards and 4 touchdowns in his second start. As a Jets player, that is practically impossible to be done. To win a game just in general is very surprising as a Jets player. But to do that in your second start and then go on and get injured and leave us to not see you again, it's kind of depressing. But you know what? At least we got to see Mike White while we had him. Next up, though, Cooper Kupp. Got to talk about him. And the guy had a historic season with 1,947 receiving yards and 16 touchdowns, but sadly did not break the receiving record by only 19 yards, leaving Calvin Johnson still holding it. But it is still pretty impressive. It's truly unfortunate that he couldn't break the receiving yard record, but honestly, it just shows how good he was this season. And no one expected him to do it, and he just came out and exploded straight off the rip, and he will be in the record book. Coming in second it's not the worst thing to happen. So he'll be in NFL history for a long time, if not forever. Next up, another record breaker, TJ Watt, exploding off the scene as well. With 22.5 sacks, tying Michael Strahan in the sack record in one season. And also managing to get 5 forced fumbles along the way. He ate this entire season, and I'm not going to lie, it was kind of depressing not to see him get this record. He tied it, but let's be real, if he broke it, it would have been way better. And he did it in less games. He did it in 15 games. 15. He did it in a shorter span than Strahan. So, I mean, it's cool and all that he has it, but he tied it and he did it in less. So, in my opinion, it counts more than Strahan's. We have the most surprising team of this whole season. The Cincinnati Bengals. Finishing as one of the worst teams last year. Coming to this year, being one of the best offenses and making the playoffs for the first time since 2015. It's just truly amazing what that organization has been able to do with Joe Burrow. It is truly amazing. How you can turn a franchise around that fast is really good. And the way they draft is really good. Even though they can still make a run for the Super Bowl, as they are in playoffs as of right now. So we will see them go ahead and play on Sunday. And so we'll see how their season finishes. But that brings us to an end of an era in Pittsburgh. Big Ben will most likely have his last game on Sunday after 17 years in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. we will most likely see him play his last football game. This man he was good for a while, and these past couple of years, we haven't seen full bend, but you know what? He still played, and he still fought through everything he was going through, making him a true legend and a first ballot Hall of Famer. Next up, though, the Chiefs. Having one of the worst starts to the NFL season, going 3-4, and finishing the season off 12-5 is just absolutely insane. Finishing the second seed in the AFC, and not gonna lie, they probably have the best chance right now to make the run in the AFC. They've got everything together. Mahomes is still Mahomes. They got Tyreek, Kelce. Every weapon on there is still there. Andy Reid's still cooking it up. That team just found its rhythm and kept rolling. And there's just so much more they can be doing. And I just can't wait to see it. We have to talk about arguably the team of the year, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, the second worst team in the NFL, with only 3 wins, being such an interesting team to watch because they made every game they could a close game, covered every spread. It is truly just amazing what this team has done. And then they have their coach. You usually find your quarterback before you find your coach, but they found their coach first. And Dan Campbell is that guy. He is one of the most caring and just everything coach you want. This guy is absolutely insane, and I can't wait to see everything else he does in Detroit. What's up? We move on to Aaron Rodgers. Still having plenty left in the tank. Going into his 16th season, still having everything to play for and showing it with 4,115 yards and 37 touchdowns with the first seed in the NFC. This guy has so much left, and I hope he doesn't retire because he proves he can still do it. And this might be his year for a Super Bowl, but I think he could manage to get another one even if he wins this year. That's how dominant he's been. Next up, we have to talk about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry played 8 games. 8 games. He finished 9th in rushing yards with 937. And not to mention 10 touchdowns, only in 8 games. The amount of yards and just everything he managed to put up just in 8 games, not even halfway through the season, is just truly impressive. Okay, he would have had another 2,000-yard season if he stayed healthy, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and so we got to see the rise and fall of him. But there is still plenty more of him to see. He has returned for the Titans and will be playing in the divisional. So this is going to make for a very interesting game on whoever they play. But we have to give him his credit for doing everything he did in the 8 games he played. A new era in New England. A rookie quarterback leads his team to the playoffs and winning 7 games straight, all in the same season. And offensive rookie of the year contender, Mac Jones, and this Patriots team have been able to do it all and shown that they don't need Brady. All they need is Belichick to keep this team going. Absolutely mind-boggling and crazy how they're still doing this, but it just shows what Bill Belichick can do, and honestly how resilient this Patriots team is. Honestly, it's just It is truly amazing. Now we go over to a running back who most thought was washed going into free agency. One team gave him a chance. The Arizona Cardinals ended up giving James Conner a chance, going under a $2 million deal. And what he has done in just one season with the Arizona Cardinals, putting up 18 touchdowns with 1,100 all-purpose yards, is truly insane. And he did miss a few games in there. It's truly insane what he has done. He had made himself known again. Everyone thought after Pittsburgh he was done, but no. He has made himself known, and he is still at the peak of his game. It only took a team to give him his chance, and you know what? It happened. And next year we'll most likely see more of him. Now we go over to a interesting team. A team that started 3-0, undefeated, and finished 5-12. The Carolina Panthers had one of the best starts in football and one of the worst turnarounds ever. They managed to do so well and just have everything blow up in their faces when it all counted. I don't even know what to say. It's just an absolutely terrible season. How do you start 3-0 and finish 5-12? It's only in the NFL. We go all the way down to Tampa Bay. The old man, Tom Brady, still getting things done, continues to dominate at the top of his position with 5,316 passing yards and 43 touchdowns, leading his team to the second seed in the NFC. And just showing age is not a factor in his performance. He has been absolutely incredible, and it's truly surprising to see a guy his age still play at the skill level he is. Earlier we talked about the Panthers having one of the worst turnarounds in football history. But now it's time to talk about one of the best turnarounds. The 49ers started off 3-5 and finished the season 10-7. And truly incredible comeback for them. And not to mention, they also made playoffs from this. Now they have the shot to compete for a Super Bowl. And it's just truly amazing what they've been able to do with the amount of diversity they've had to face. We have talked about what the Bengals did, but we have to single out Joe Burrow, the man himself. Joe Burrow, comeback player of the year. There's no doubt about it. He is comeback player of the year. In his second year, he puts up 4,611 yards with 34 touchdowns, leading the Bengals to their first playoff berth in 6 years. No, 7 years. Truly, truly impressive, and shows just how much he can do, just given the right weapons and the right opportunities. I thought we just mentioned Joe Burrow, though. We have to mention his better half, Jamar Chase, or AKA Rookie of the Year. Jamar Chase ended the season with almost 1,500 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns as a rookie. Mac Jones had a great season, but you can't tell me these numbers he put up aren't offensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah, Mac Jones had a great season, but there's no way that Jamar Chase should be denied his achievement. Not to mention on the amount of fantasy teams he carried. guy has been able to do it all for the Bengals and help them and get to the playoffs. And all that, though, in his rookie season, and getting them to the playoffs, he's managed to cement himself as a top 5 receiver in the league. And, like I said earlier, Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. But I guess on that, we're just going to have to wait and see. Go to LA with the Chargers, Justin Herbert, having an incredible second year. They're getting 5,014 passing yards. Still managing to do it with 38 touchdowns. And I think there's no doubt about it, game of the year in the Week 18 game against the Raiders. Herbert was a machine, and it's nice to see him get the credit he deserves. Not to mention, though, we still haven't even seen his full potential. Wait until he gets an offensive line, and then this team is just going to be unstoppable with their young quarterback. Now we head over to the defensive side of the ball with Micah Parsons, a.k.a. the Defensive Rookie of the Year, with 84 tackles, 13 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. He has managed to cement himself as one of the best defensive players of the entire season. And just doing all of this in your first year is truly remarkable and impressive on so many levels, and showing that he will be that guy in Dallas for a while. So people better stay seated because it's going to be a show in Dallas. We move over to Davante Adams, having another explosive season with Aaron Rodgers, having 1,553 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and going on another shot to the Super Bowl. Now, Davante, we've seen him be electric. We've seen him do everything. The one thing we haven't seen this man do is hold up the Lombardi Trophy. That is the one thing he needs to do to cement himself as that guy in the NFL. We've seen him be the number one receiver. We've seen him have the most receiving yards. We've seen him having the most touchdowns. We've seen him do everything. All we need to see him do is hoist that Lombardi Trophy, and that is a very real possibility for this season. We got to go back to Dallas with Trayvon Diggs, their second-year starter. Trayvon Diggs had 11 interceptions, but at what cost? He led up over 1,000 receiving yards, which begs many to question: Is he worth it? Are the turnovers worth letting up all those yards? And there's truly no right answer to it. There's no right answer. He's been able to do amazing, but he can't. It's a Marcus Peters situation. You just don't know what you're going to get. And so it is tough to say that is a good season, but it truly is on paper. And it's just one of those high-risk, high-reward things. So, but nonetheless, you got to give him his credit for having the 11 interceptions, even if he let up that many yards. We have to talk about Robert Hunt, the man, the myth, the legend, the touchdown that couldn't be. Robert Hunt, if most of you remember, is the Miami Dolphins offensive lineman who made an incredible catch and ran and scored a touchdown, but was only called back due to the fact that nobody hit the ball before it got to him, which is truly upsetting, but you know what? Rules are rules. But it absolutely made for a great play that should be cemented in NFL history, no matter if it was allowed or not. We go all the way back to Tampa again, not to talk about a legend, but to talk about an interesting event that had occurred. Antonio Brown. We've seen him have problems on and off the field, and we see it happen again with him quitting mid-game throwing off his pads and walking straight onto the field and into the locker room. Now, there has been many stories saying what happened, and to be honest, we probably will never truly know what happened. If it was Bruce Arians, if it was Antonio Brown, we can probably say it was a mix of both, but we will probably never know what truly happened. So that's definitely going to put it a little hurt on his career, but you know what? It did make for a kind of hilarious video to watch. I mean, seeing a guy throw off all his gear and start throwing his shirt, his gloves, everything into the stands is pretty funny, quitting just mid-game. So it made for a good laugh. Leaving it on that note, that was the summary of all the great moments and all the funny moments and sad moments in the NFL of 2021 season. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, comment, subscribe. And with that being said, I'll see y'all on the next one.
Out, fourth quarter, shorty, no call outs. Don't go to work, baby, just call out. In the bedroom, all out. Perks on the counter, I can't wait to take them. Blunts on the counter, can't wait to face it. Bad little bitch, yeah, she be my favorite. All my songs, they all on her playlist. I don't really know how to say it, but I'ma say it. I don't really know if she take it, but she can take it. I don't slow it down unless I'm in the Matrix. Presidential brain, that bitch like Sarah Palin.